If you happen to be collecting data for more than 4 learning objectives, you will need to add columns to your spreadsheet. To do this, select your totals column, right-click, and then select Insert. You can see that the new column shows up to the left of the totals column, but you need to change the color on the inside because it will stick with the green from the adjacent column. Then what you'll do is go ahead and add in your additional learning objective. In this case, I have a critical thinking skills objective. And I'm going to go ahead and follow the same path. I'm going to click in totals column, right click, select insert, and my new column shows up. I'm going to go ahead and make that blue to match the original blue that I have from my baseline assessment. And I'm going to fill in the cell with the title, Cornerstone Assessment Critical Thinking Skills. I'm going to continue the process of adding a column in the rate of change section of my spreadsheet. I'll select the totals and then right-click, select Insert, and my new column shows up, and again it's green, so I need to change the formatting so that it is blue to match the other two. And then I'll go ahead and label it Rate of Change Critical Thinking Skills. You will notice that the total score for Kim Arnold reflects the points she earned for the first 4 learning objectives, but not for any of the points that she earned for critical thinking. This is because the formula needs to change to reflect our newly added category. We can change the formula by clicking in the cell attributed to her total points earned and revising the formula. We want to change the range of cells to include the data from F2. Ultimately, we are adding all the numbers from cells B2 through F2. The new total reflects the additional 2 points from critical thinking. Our next step is to copy the formula so that all of the students' new totals can be calculated. To do this, click the green square in the bottom right corner of the cell, then hold and drag all the way down the column. This will copy the formula to each one of those cells. Excel intuitively knows that you're trying to copy this formula, but it's good to double check your values anyway. Let's take a look. As we add new numbers, you can see that if I add 1, the new total is 8. And I'm just going to continue to add values to see if the totals change. Oh, whoops, can't score a 5. That a 4, we'll make that a 4. We'll make that a 4 as well. Now I need to change the formula for the total in the Cornerstone Assessment section. We will do the same thing. If we select the cell that shows the total student score for Kim, it does not reflect critical thinking. Let's change the formula so that we are calculating the sum from cells H2 through L2. We can check our formula by adding in a score for critical thinking and seeing how it's reflected in the totals column. And now let's copy the formula again. If you click in the cell that has the formula already formatted, click in the green box, drag and hold all the way down the column, and the formatting should stick. Again, you can test this by adding values in to the critical thinking and seeing how it reflects in the total score. Now we need to calculate the rate of change, which means that we need to find the difference between the scores from the Cornerstone Assessment and the baseline assessment. To create our rate of change formula for critical thinking skills, our starting point is cell S2. In the formula field, we type equals L2 minus F2 because we are finding the difference between those two scores. Once we hit enter, our formula will hold, and we can check by looking. 4 minus 2, in fact, is 2. Now we need to copy the formula again all the way down the column. Click in your beginning, bottom right hand corner with the green square, click, hold, and drag all the way down the column. Let go, and the values should populate. Our last step is finding the formula for the average for each of the three sections in critical thinking. You see that the average area is not populated with a score. That's because we need to fill it in with a formula. Let's start in the baseline assessment section in the cell dedicated to the average score. In the formula field, let's type the equal sign, and then click the drop down, select average, and then Excel is going to give us a range to choose from. And in fact, we do want the range from F2 to F11. And once we click return, the formula holds. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the cornerstone assessment section. In the field, type equals, select the drop down, average, and the range of cells we'd like to find the average for is L2 to L11. If we click return or enter, the scores auto-populate. We're going to follow this again. Finding the average, click equals, click the drop-down menu to the left, select average, and the fields we want are in fact R2 through R11. Once we click enter or return, we'll see that the scores auto-populate.